Happy New Year, television family. Well, not quite yet. We'll be in a few more hours, the very last day of 2025. The year is almost in the books. I am Dan Kuntz, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Quick Shop Talk. You probably know this by now, but I'll just emphasize this again. Needless to say, no show tomorrow. Won't be here. Get to sleep in on a Thursday, which almost never happens. And because New Year's Day is a Thursday, we decided we'll take Friday off too. So we had a 4-day weekend last weekend for Christmas. We're getting another 4-day weekend this weekend. So after today's show, we won't visit again until Monday, January 4th. So don't tune in. Well, tune in tomorrow if you want to. I won't be here. It's 25 degrees. We're going to do it all over again today. Quite a bit of sunshine for most of the day today, but that ridge of high pressure, which has been influencing and affecting our weather, quite frankly, for the last 3 or 4 days, is still moving gradually, but moving off to the east, off to Montana. And that means we're going to cloud up and warm up quite a bit. This is going to be one of those scenarios coming up over the weekend where it's actually going to be warmer at the higher elevations than it is down here in the Wenatchee Valley. The air stagnation advisory continues until noon tomorrow. So seasonably cold in the valleys, but warmer up above. It happens this time of the year. So we got weather, we got news, lots of it. We got sports, lots of it. Today is the final day of the Give NCW campaign. It's in its 10th year. It's administered, of course, by the Community Foundation of North Central Washington. They're a little behind where they were last year. This starts on Thanksgiving Day, and it goes all the way through New Year's Eve, which is today, according to my calendar. And so one last little shout out from Beth Stipe, the executive director of the Community Foundation of North Central Washington. Get that last second push for all those cool nonprofits that need your help, because it ends tonight at midnight. We're a giving community, but we're gonna give a little more. I got faith in you. All right, let's take our tour and let's see if the lights are still blinking at the mall. And yes, they are. Anybody know what that's all about? That's the mall. That's the blinking thing that you see there. That's the Wenatchee Valley Mall there on Valley Mall Parkway. I don't know what that is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Let's do this together. Ready? Click and off and on and off and on and off. I have no idea what that is. Just kind of a weird thing. A few clouds out there. That's about it. Beautiful view from Hay Canyon, high above Kashmir on this Wednesday morning. Have you noticed traffic is fairly light? I think no school has a lot to do with it. There's no school. Some of the government offices will be closing early. If you got some errands to run, you might want to double check where you're going, because there'll be some places that are going to shut down a little early, especially independent businesses that can do that. Good morning to Kashmir, and a beautiful sunrise on the way. Sunrise this morning, once again today, at 7:48. Sunrise has been at 7:48 for the last 3 days, and it will be at 7:48 all the way through until January 6th. So the days are getting longer, but it's the later sunset, not the earlier sunrise, that's making the days a little bit longer. The Rondo Rock camera, you can see the lights from the valley lighting up the local. It's kind of weird. We looked at the Hay Canyon camera. It didn't look like there was any clouds at all. You look at this camera, which is considerably lower, and it looks like we have a few more overcast skies there. And let's head on up to Billy Goat, which is high above everything. What a stunning view there. Now, not 20 minutes ago when we went through the cameras, that cloud bank, that fog bank wasn't there, but Malcolm may have moved the camera. I don't know. I see a couple residual lights down there, but of course that camera is on a tower that's over 7,000 feet in elevation. It's the highest camera. Oh, there, Malcolm is moving the camera. There you go. So there's Pateris, and there's Brewster. I was worried. I thought maybe they went someplace. Do we have the outlook for the week? Did I remind Malcolm that I put a slide in? There, yeah, there we go. This is for the entire Eastern Washington area, by the way. As you can see, pretty warm by the time we get to the new year. In fact, it's going to be very mild a couple of days on January 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th, because the ridge moves away. More active weather returns to welcome in the new year. So widespread light wintry mix outside of that, and very mild. I want to point this out. As you know, we had the second warmest November on record, and we will have the warmest December on record. And this is the number right here. The average temperature this month, they take the daily high, the daily low, they average it out, and then they average it out for the entire month, 37.8 degrees, which is 8.8 degrees above normal. This is not only going to be the warmest December we have ever had since they began to measure these things, but it's not even close, just ridiculously warm. Sunshine pretty much for the most part today after a high of 34 yesterday. A little cooler today. We'll top off at about 33. The clouds will be thickening up as you are ringing in the new year. We'll get down to 26 for the overnight low. By the way, your forecast is brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee. It's where comfort, care, and community come together. New Year's Day, a good day to make a big bowl of stew or chili and crash on the couch, nurse your hangover and watch some college football because it's going to be cloudy on Thursday and a high of 32. Chance of precipitation Thursday night is 40%, but they're not expecting any kind of measurable rain, light precipitation at all. You know, whatever we get's not going to last very long. By Friday, the snow level will be close to 4,000 feet with a high Friday under cloudy skies, 34 degrees. Then we start the warm up, 41 on Saturday with rain, 42 on Sunday under partly sunny skies and very mild temperatures as we go back to work for the first full week of the new year. We're going to take a break and come back and do some news for you because that's what's next on the agenda. You're watching a New Year's Eve edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
It's cooled down since the show started. We're now down at 22 degrees. We're going to do it all over again today. Quite a bit of sunshine, right around 33 or 34 for the afternoon high. Clouds roll in tonight. Pretty gray and pretty cloudy with maybe a light wintry mix for the next couple of days, and very warm, unseasonably warm for the holiday weekend. It's 9 minutes after the hour. Investigators say they have connected a residential fire that killed 2 people last August in Chelan. They have connected that fire to an arson suspect who has since died. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says Jason William Glandon from Brewster, 41 years old, was the suspect in the August 21st fire at 418 East Wooden Avenue. The fire killed 2 occupants in the 2-story home, Nada D. Davidson, who was 63 years old, and Michael W. Tapp, who was 67 years old. About 9 people were in the home at the time of the fire. 2 of those suffered injuries before they got out. Sheriff's Chief of Special Operations Ryan Moody said yesterday detectives identified Glandon as the primary suspect 3 days after the fire, and they had alerted the neighboring police agencies to be on the lookout for him. Well, the Brewster Police Department located Glandon on August 25th, but he was recently deceased from deep vein thrombosis. Moody said when Glandon's body was found, the back of his legs displayed severe burns, indicating that he had turned away from a fire or an explosion. Leonard Evans Used Cars is going to shut its doors on the last day of next month after 70 years in business at the corner of North Wenatchee Avenue and Maple Street. They announced it on Facebook earlier in the week. Garrett Evans, the owner, is going to retire. Leonard Evans Used Cars was founded by Leonard and Joan Evans back in 1955. Garrett Evans has been the general manager of the dealership since 1980. The dealership expanded to become the new car dealer for Chrysler products from 1964 to 1980. And then from 1999 to 2006, it became a Hyundai dealership. And before its final day at the end of January, the dealership says it is offering, quote, closeout pricing, end quote, on all remaining inventory. A 40-year-old Wenatchee man was sentenced this week to 17 years in federal prison for his part in a local fentanyl ring. U.S. District Judge Rebecca Pennell handed down the sentence to Stephen Edward Graham. He was arrested in 2023 in a Wenatchee hotel room. He had more than 7,000 fentanyl pills and $19,000 in cash. His partner, William Cody Swager Larson, he was sentenced in Chelan County Court to nearly 4 years for drug possession with intent to deliver. But Graham was indicted on federal charges and was convicted in a jury trial last summer in U.S. District Court in Spokane. He was also found guilty of illegally possessing a firearm that police found at the scene. First Assistant United States Attorney Pete Serrano says Graham qualifies as a career offender under federal sentencing provisions and must be on supervised release for 10 years after he gets out of prison for 17 years. City of Leavenworth are looking for somebody who can help make a visit to town one to remember. The city is hiring a recreation and tourism manager whose job will support the tourism-based economy and lead the development of a new community center, a regional library, and perhaps an indoor pool. Other responsibilities include close work with the Leavenworth Chamber of Commerce, the Autumn Leaf Festival, and other community boards, agencies, and associations. The city is offering a pay range of just under $88,000 up to $108,000 a year. The new position will be paid out using the lodging tax and pool funds. The Colville tribes have marked a milestone this year in their project to reintroduce the Canadian lynx to its historic Washington habitat. 6 kittens were confirmed to have been born this summer to 2 female lynx in the Kettle Range on the Colville Reservation. A 3rd female was known to have given birth, but she relocated her den before her offspring could be counted. Tribal wildlife biologists have been trapping and releasing adult lynx from the north of the Canadian border since 2021, hoping they'll reestablish their population domestically. The big cats, as you can see, are trapped with a geolocating collar for the first couple of years after they're released. The effort will wind down this year with one final trap and release season. There are busy news years, and then there's 2025. It was an extraordinarily busy news year locally, and for some pretty wrong reasons, as you might imagine, including one news story that made national news for quite some time. Here is part 2 of our look back at the year 2025. This is May through August.
In May, Douglas County Sheriff Kevin Morris disclosed that he'd violated Idaho Fish and Game law after harvesting a cougar. Morris shot the animal on property he owns in Latah County, but rather than claim it using a wildlife tag he already held, Morris asked his son to purchase him a cougar-specific permit after the fact. Morris paid a $500 civil penalty to settle the misdemeanor violation. Morris announced in December that after 2 terms, he will not seek re-election as sheriff next year. The hunting case is still under review by the Washington Criminal Justice Training Commission, which oversees police standards in the state. The city of Wenatchee filed an order on May 12th to revoke the conditional use permit for Lighthouse Christian Ministries, which operated a food assistance center for the homeless on Columbia Street. The city said it received multiple nuisance complaints from businesses and employees within a block of the outreach center, which served roughly 400 visitors each month. The shutdown became effective in August. Earlier this month, the ministry filed a federal lawsuit against the city, saying its permit was revoked arbitrarily and without due process. Everett-based fusion company Helion submitted its permit applications to build on a portion of the Chelan County PUD's 401-acre Rock Island Dam property. Helion proposes to generate electricity from nuclear fusion, and the PUD has expressed interest in a partnership to serve the ever-growing local power demand. If everything goes smoothly, Helion hopes to begin generating fusion power in 2028. On Memorial Day weekend, 3 young sisters went missing from their home in Wenatchee. The kidnapping and murder of the Decker girls, 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia, would grip the Wenatchee Valley and the world beyond for the next 4 months. From the discovery of their bodies along Icicle Creek to the recovery of their father, Travis Decker's skeletal remains in late September, he was the only suspect in his daughter's abduction and killing. In their memory, the girls' mother, Whitney Decker, created the Hope Scholarship, a charitable fund for children pursuing soccer and dance in the Wenatchee Valley. In June of 2025, a Wenatchee man proved himself a hero when he came upon a lumber fire that was spreading to nearby houses. Frank Gonzalez called 911 and rushed into a basement apartment on Ringgold Street to pull an occupant and his dog to safety. 2 homes were damaged in the 2-alarm blaze, which broke out on a day when temperatures reached 87 degrees. The man rescued by Gonzalez was treated for smoke inhalation, and 6 firefighters were given intravenous fluids to recover from heat exposure. A Wenatchee family lost its matriarch in an Arizona homicide case. 91-year-old Mickey Crater was fatally shot at her family's vacation home in Sun City by a neighbor who believed he was protecting the property from squatters. 72-year-old Gary Mertz took his own life after shooting Mickey. He also wounded her son Dwayne in the incident. It was the second time in less than a year that violence had broken out at the Crater's vacation property. Mickey's other son, George Crater Jr., is jailed and still awaiting trial for allegedly beating an occupant in the home to death over unpaid rent in the autumn of 2024. It was back to school minus cell phones for students in the Wenatchee School District and elsewhere around north central Washington. The Wenatchee School Board in June approved a policy banning cell phone use during class times. High school students got the option to use Yonder pouches, which hold phones in a locked bag until the end of the school day. The Palmas Fire, NCW's first significant wildfire of the 2025 season, was detected in June. It would eventually reach 3,600 acres, burning dead and fallen timber in the Glacier Peak Wilderness northwest of Entiat. The Palmas Fire never posed a threat to homes, and it was later dwarfed in significance by the Lower Sugarloaf and Labor Mountain fires. An estimated 1,500 people were on hand June 14th for Wenatchee's second No Kings rally of the year, voicing opposition to Trump administration policies on immigration, the environment, the economy, and more. About 7 million people took part that day in protests nationwide. In July, Wenatchee Valley College reached settlement terms with a science professor who sued WVC over alleged gender-based harassment and retaliation. Bobby Johnson's story was a focus of NCWLIFE's award-winning Campus Crisis, which investigated claims of a toxic work environment and a lack of action by college leadership. The settlement awarded Johnson $1 million. As part of the agreement, Johnson did not return this fall to teach at Wenatchee Valley College, where she'd been a professor for 4 years. EZ's Burger Deluxe saw its future become uncertain as the city of Wenatchee made plans to acquire a portion of the restaurant's property for 2 separate traffic and pedestrian projects. Owner Pete Azetta warned that would make it impossible to operate the popular restaurant at that location. Supporters of the business descended on Wenatchee City Council meetings, urging the city's Public Works Department not to pursue the plan. The discovery of human remains at a Spokane homeless encampment put an end to a 3-year Okanagan County manhunt. Sheriff Paul Boudreau confirmed the remains were those of Dylan Harrington, who'd been sought by police ever since the February 2022 murders of David and Geraldine Covey on their property near Chesaw. DNA and dental records showed the remains found in April were those of the wanted murder suspect. A small plane went off the end of the runway at the Kashmir-Dryden Airport, crashing into the roof of a house nearby. 2 people were on board and were taken to Confluence Health Hospital for their injuries. The occupants of the home were not hurt. The National Transportation Safety Board determined the pilot failed to clear the house during an aborted landing, and the air density during the hot weather contributed to the crash. Gordon Edgar retired at the end of June as Douglas County's chief prosecuting attorney. He had held that office for 6 years. In July, Douglas County Commissioners appointed Edgar's replacement. Sean Patrick Lewis is a longtime civil attorney who most recently worked for Chelan County and for the city of East Wenatchee. In August, 2 people in a Grant County long-term care facility died, and many more were sickened by a COVID-19 outbreak. The outbreak infected more than 45 residents and staff. The facility began taking steps including routine COVID testing and isolation for residents who tested positive, while public health agencies lent them air purifiers to help minimize the spread of the virus. Chelan County Auditor Skip Moore hired a chief deputy for his office. Brant Capel was approved for the new post by a vote of the county commissioners. Capel is a former Republican candidate for county commissioner himself and previously served as a legislative aide for 12th District lawmaker Keith Gaynor. It's the first time the auditor has had a chief deputy. Capel will be paid just under $91,000 a year. Wenatchee Valley College received a warning from the body that oversees college accreditation, saying the college was out of compliance with standards around how it handles complaints and harassment amongst staff. The Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities took action against WVC following a special visit to the campus in April. In a letter to President Famous Harrison, the commission recommended administrators and supervisors receive ongoing training on ethical management and how to handle complaints and grievances. The commission is requiring WVC to address and resolve its shortcomings by August 2029. A former Las Vegas fire commander became the new fire chief for the city of Moses Lake. Arthur J. Perillo III was named head of the Moses Lake Department. After 25 years in fire services, Perillo replaces former Chief Brett Bastian, who retired in January.
We want to close out this year with some really, really good news. It was just about a year ago that the Wenatchee Valley YMCA announced that they were going to be selling their Y Camp up at Lake Wenatchee, their 25-acre camp, because it was costing them about $200,000 a year to run the camp. So they wanted to get rid of it. They wanted to sell it. Well, they have sold it, and they sold it to Dean Widener, the CEO of Widener Apartment Homes. The price was not disclosed, but he has purchased it, and then he's going to lease it back to the YMCA for $10 a year for 99 years. Widener is also providing a $2 million endowment to the 25-acre camp. So the local YMCA is going to collaborate with the national YMCA and the Friends of Lake Wenatchee YMCA camp. They're going to reimagine the camp experience. What does this mean? There will be no camping at the Y Camp at Lake Wenatchee next year in 2026, but they are going to reopen it in 2027 for its 100th year. Glenn Widener is the CEO of Widener Apartment Homes. They own and operate the Riverside 9 on the Columbia River here in Wenatchee, 600 Riverside apartment complex along the river, the Live Easy complex in Sunny Slope, and of course they're also building the Majestic apartments about 300 or 400 feet from where I am sitting. That is really good news. And a good way to close out the year. And we're going to have one more newscast tonight, including part 3 of our year in review from September through the rest of the year. We'll have that during the news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Got a news tip? Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, and that's our quick response code, which I designed myself. I didn't design it. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
The holiday season is here, and life is hectic. Let Merry Maids help simplify yours. You expect a lot, and Merry Maids delivers more. They'll make your home or business sparkle for holiday parties, special events, and family gatherings. They'll customize the cleaning to fit your needs and your budget. Merry Maids are cleaning experts. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Best of all, your satisfaction is always guaranteed. Visit online, merrymaids.com, and call for a free estimate. Then you can relax. It's done.
Sports at 25 minutes after the hour. As you know by now, there's a football game of some importance on Saturday night in Santa Clara. Here we go. The Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers. I think you know the scenario by now. The winner of this game will be the #1 seed in the NFC all the way through the playoffs. Of course, the Super Bowl is in Santa Clara, which is pretty remarkable. So if the Seahawks win, they'll be the #1 seed in the NFC, home field advantage and a first-round bye. But if they lose, they're going to drop all the way to a #5 seed, and will have to play in the wild card round, and will have to do so on the road. It's pretty convoluted. Anyway, there's your NFC schedule for the weekend and your NFC standings. We won't know who the Seahawks play, of course, until after the weekend is done. Seattle Kraken back in action tomorrow. The Nashville Predators are in town. They might want to rethink their nickname. Nashville, Seattle, Climate Pledge Arena, 7 o'clock tomorrow. That's on both Prime and Kong TV. Women's college basketball scores from last night. Take a look at the winners and the losers because there's just two. Gonzaga knocked off Pepperdine 75-52 in women's college basketball. Men's scores, there were a few more games to be played. Number 7 Gonzaga had a huge lead. They almost blew it, but they pulled it out. They beat San Diego 99-93. Seattle University beat Washington State at Climate Pledge Arena 69-55. So that's what happened. Here's your schedule. Take a look at your favorite teams, when they play and when they play them, as the Huskies now are in conference play, both the men and the ladies in Big Ten Conference. Washington State will take on Portland over the weekend. There's your men's college basketball schedule. Lots to choose from if you're not watching football. You got basketball, but you better have ESPN Plus, or you ain't going to be watching much of anything as far as the local teams are concerned over the weekend. Girls high school basketball. Maybe no school, but there's still basketball to be played. Here are your scores from last night. Ridgeline rolled over Moses Lake. Cashmere took care of Chelan up in Chelan by 10 points. Lakeside at 9 Mile Falls beat Lake Roosevelt. Tenasket over Jenkins, and Pateris beat Forks in prep girls basketball. Boys basketball. Chelan got a little revenge. They rolled over Cashmere. Tenasket over Jenkins. Brewster knocked off Kingsway Christian down in Yakima. Quincy beat La Center. Peninsula over Lake Roosevelt, and Ridgeline beat Moses Lake. Schedules, lots of them. Both Wenatchee and Eastmont High Schools are hosting the Giza Credit Union Shootout at their respective gyms. This is kind of cool. You remember this? It used to be at the Town Toyota Center. Now it's at the local gym. So for the prep girls, there's your schedule for the Giza Credit Union Shootout. Games tomorrow, games Friday, games on Saturday in the big schools. For the smaller schools, here's your schedule for the weekend for Friday and Saturday. Most of these are now going to be league games. There was a couple of exceptions for that, but all of the local schools will pretty much be in full league action by the beginning of the next year. Prep girls for the smaller schools, the B schools on Friday, lots of basketball. After they get to enjoy the holidays, a couple of days off there, take a look at who plays who and when on Friday and on Saturday. There's your prep girls basketball schedule. No lack of high school basketball. Every gym is going to be busy pretty much all weekend long, including, of course, on New Year's Day, and that includes the boys' big schools. Again, the Giza Credit Union Shootout, it's boys and girls. So they're coming to town. They're sleeping on gym floors. It'll be a lot of fun. Wenatchee and Eastmont will host, and there's your schedule. And yes, they will be playing on New Year's Day. For the smaller schools, there's your schedule for Friday, just 3 games on tap. And then on Saturday, it's a little bit busier for the smaller schools. That's the 2A and 1A. Boys B schedule on Friday looks something like this. That's a lot of basketball to be played all the way from 3:30 in the afternoon to 7:30 at night. That's the B schedule on Friday. On Saturday, it looks something like this. We're going through all of these schedules. Of course, we're not going to be here tomorrow, and we're not going to be here on Friday, so there you go. Can't forget about wrestling, folks. Go get them. Moses Lake and 14 other teams will be at the Tahoma Tourney. That begins at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. That's awfully early to wrestle, but I'm not a wrestler. Cascade High School will host the Bavarian tournament over the weekend as well. Can't forget about the Wenatchee Wild. They got a lot of hockey to play. First of all, tonight, Seattle Thunderbirds in town at the Town Toyota Center. It's an early start, folks, 5 o'clock, so you can watch some hockey and then go out and ring in the new year. And then they have 3 games in 3 days. Portland will visit Wenatchee on Friday at 7 o'clock. And then on Saturday, they'll be at Everett for 6:05. Then they hop on the bus on a Saturday night, stay overnight Sunday in Portland. and take on the Winterhawks at 4 o'clock. Go Wild, and those are just some of the games that people are playing. Obscure holidays. It is Restoration Day in Switzerland. I don't know what that means, but it is. Today is also Make Up Your Mind Day today. It's also No Interruptions Day. But I want to stop that real quick. I want to interrupt you to remind you that today it's New Year's Eve. People traditionally ring in the new year with a champagne toast. And today is the sparkling wine that I just can't handle. Today is National Champagne Day today. I don't like it, but there you go. And of course, in order for it to be champagne, it has to be grown by grapes in the Champagne region of France. Anything else is just sparkling wine. That's it. You cannot put the word champagne on the label unless the grapes were grown in the Champagne region of France, which used to be an ancient lake, like way back a gazillion years ago. A typical bottle of champagne, by the way, this is one of the reasons you don't point it when you open it, has more than 90 pounds of pressure per square inch, so stay clear. Actually, just stay clear of champagne altogether. Ugh, just thinking about it makes me gag. 31 minutes after the hour, a couple of historic football games were held on this day. Everybody knows about the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. New Year's Day, 1967, the winner goes to Super Bowl II in Miami. They probably wish they played the game in Miami, the Ice Bowl. The Packers defeat the Cowboys 21-17 to win the NFC Championship. It's known forever as the Ice Bowl. At kickoff at Lambeau Field, it was minus 15 degrees. You factor in the wind chill, it was minus 48 degrees. The game began, and on the very first play, the whistles in the officials' lips froze and tore the skin right off their lips. They were unable to use their whistles after that. They used some sort of signal to say, by the way, the play is over. And then there's also this. All that exists is film, even though it was televised nationally by CBS. CBS erased the videotapes, so the actual television broadcast no longer exists of the Ice Bowl. New Year's Eve, 1967. And then there was the game at Soldier Field in Chicago on this date in 1988, New Year's Eve. Playoffs, Bears beat the Eagles. So we're told, because nobody could see it. Here's the footage from the famous Fog Bowl. Soldier Field, again, the Bears beat the Eagles 21-12 in the first round of the NFC playoffs. 65,534 fans on hand, and for the first half, they could see the game. Second half, they couldn't. During halftime is when the fog began to roll in, and it got denser and denser and denser. It got to the point where CBS had to use all of their lower field cams because any of the upper cams that they would use for any other game didn't work. You couldn't see anything. Both teams could no longer pass. They had to only run because the wide receivers couldn't see the football. I mean, they just plain couldn't see the football. The TV and radio announcers had no idea what was going on. Neither did the fans on the field. In fact, it got to the point where the referee of the famous Fog Bowl ended up having to announce the down and distance for each play over his PA system because you couldn't see the scoreboard and you couldn't see the down markers. So anyway, we're told that the Bears beat the Eagles on this date 37 years ago today. And December 31st, 2011 did not exist in Samoa. They blew by altogether. Samoa, right on the international date line in the southern Pacific Ocean, decided they wanted to change time zones from one side of the international date line to the other. So as a result, it was December 30th, 2011, and the next day it was January 1st, 2012, and December 31st never existed in the island of Samoa. Let's do birthdays. One of the most underappreciated military leaders in this country's history, the very first five-star general in this country's history, George Marshall, who was FDR's aide-de-camp. He was FDR's #1 #1 advisor during World War II, the first 5-star general in this country's history, Army Chief of Staff, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, the Marshall Plan, and he did not go to West Point. He graduated from VMI, the Virginia Military Institute, the legendary George Marshall. I read a biography on him a number of years ago. Pretty fascinating stuff. Born in the state in 1880. The Dogfather, Don James. I don't think without question the greatest coach in Husky football history. Born in Ohio in this state in 1932, inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1997, 4 times a Rose Bowl champion, won the 1985 Orange Bowl, the 1991 National Championship. They went to 15 bowl games. They went 10-5, and a 3-time National Coach of the Year, 1977, 1984, and 1991. We lost Don James about 12 years ago. And finally, Anthony Hopkins. Best Actor for Silence of the Lambs in 1992. He holds the distinct record of being on screen the least amount of time in any movie for an actor who won the Best Actor award. For Silence of the Lambs, he was only on screen for like a quarter of the movie, but he was pretty good. Happy 88th to Anthony Hopkins. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. On Monday, January 4th, when we return after a 4-day weekend, they're still going to be a platinum sponsor. Thumbs up to those guys. Mike Bonatti has an opinion to close out the year, and then Beth Stipe will join me because this is it. This is the last day of the year and the last day of the Give NCW campaign for the holiday season. Beth will join me with one mass push for you guys when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
NCWLIFE channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCWLIFE would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Hi, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, it is my understanding that 2 local religious organizations are including firearms and other use of force training in their church-related activities. Now, this is fine. Church can do anything they want. But this type of thing has nothing to do with Christianity and absolutely nothing to do with promoting or building the kingdom of God. Yeah, I know. Jesus asked his disciples who had a sword prior to heading to the Garden of Gethsemane, but also said if you live by the sword, you're going to die that way too. Now, it's interesting. The Apostle Paul tells us that the kingdom of God is love, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit, and that the weapons of Christianity are not earthly, not firearms, but they're spiritual. Sorry, folks, but you know who you are, but you can't co-opt Jesus into justifying your paranoia. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
It's time for BC Outdoor Sport Fishing TV, Season 16, with your host, Mike Mitchell. You come alive in the dead of winter and start work early on snow days, because snowed in is not an option. The Kubota Snow lineup of compact tractors, RTVs, and versatile attachments are built to move, plow, blow, and thrive in the winter. So when the snow falls, you could rise to meet it. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $4,300.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Welcome back to the program. She's a ray of sunshine on an otherwise cloudy day. Beth Stipe, the Executive Director of the Community Foundation, North Central Washington. Wednesday is it. That's it. It's the last day of the year for the Give NCW campaign. So if you haven't done it yet, it's been sitting in your inbox. You've been on social media. Boy, I should really hop on that. Well, the time to procrastinate or even put it off, Beth, is over. This is it.
That's it. Tomorrow is the last day of the campaign. At midnight, we shut it all down, and all of those funds that have been raised from generous donors like your folks out in the audience will go to those not-for-profits after the first of the year. So we're pretty excited. We also have, you have one more day to head down to Plaza Superjet for their roundup, which is super cool that they do that. And then the Community Foundation is going to put in matching funds up to $50,000 for the Give to All, which will be spread across all of those not-for-profit organizations. So we're pretty close to meeting that $50,000 match. So that's exciting too. So get out there, give to all, go to the Plaza Superjet roundup, and make your contributions to your favorite charities in North Central Washington.
I don't do a lot of social media. It does me. I don't do it. A lot of the nonprofits who are going to benefit from the Give NCW campaign, they've been pretty. Not, I wouldn't say aggressive. They're good. They're nice about it, but they're trying to get the word out as much as possible. Absolutely. Through Instagram and through X and through Facebook. Hey, we're out there, and you can do the Give to All. That's great, but give to us too.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's the partnership component of this crowdfunding campaign. It only does as well as all of us getting together and working together to get the message out, to give people the knowledge that this opportunity exists, and that anybody can give. The minimum donation size is $10, and you have the opportunity to cover the credit card charge, or the community foundation will do that for you, so that every dollar that you choose to go to an organization or a cause that you love gets right out there to that organization. Everything is local, everything stays here, everything benefits North Central Washington.
One of the reasons that this caught my eye, and I've been checking this almost daily since Thanksgiving when the Give NCW campaign began, a little lower this year at this point. Now, it's as we tape this, and it's Tuesday morning as we're taping this, you're at a little over $814,000. You were almost $100,000 more at the end of last year.
That's correct.
At the deal, so
we're a little shy this year.
We can do better.
We're hoping that we meet it. People always wait till the last minute to give, and last year was a record campaign, so we're hoping that we can meet or exceed that this year. So again, like you said, get out there and give those dollars so that we can get the most out into our community, because as always, the needs are there, and we have organizations that are supporting animal welfare, that are helping feed people, that are helping house people. So it's really those important organizations that are doing really great work in North Central Washington that we're trying to support.
When people donate to the Give NCW campaign, they can trust you folks, and there's a reason for that. Hey, I'm giving you some of my hard-earned cash for some nonprofits that need it. They're entrusting you to be good stewards of their money, so to speak, and you are.
So in order for an organization to even be considered to participate on the Give NCW campaign, they have had to have gotten a grant from the Community Foundation. And in order for you to get a grant from the Community Foundation, we have our volunteers and our trustees and our staff that are going out, and they are basically meeting with every organization face-to-face, learning about the work they do, looking at their financials, and making sure that they're a solid organization. And so we want to make sure that any organization that we go out to the community and say, hey, please help this cause or purpose or organization, has been vetted by the Community Foundation at the highest level.
Does it make it just easier for especially some of the smaller nonprofits? Some of the bigger nonprofits, they have staff that helps grease the wheels a little bit, but some of the smaller nonprofits, they don't get a lot of money. For them, this is huge.
It is a big deal for these really small organizations, and that is because of a couple of things. One, a lot of them, like you said, are all volunteer led, and many of them don't have technology, so they don't have like a donor database that they could do a traditional fundraising campaign, and so we help them do that for them. And it's really a great win-win in the sense that not only are they gaining new people who learn about their organization and support it, but they're able to help grow their capacity. And so that's something also that the Community Foundation spends a lot of energy and effort, is to help our nonprofit community improve their efficiency and their effectiveness in the community.
You can do your homework too. If you want to give to a specific nonprofit, as Beth already mentioned, Give to All goes, they split it basically 100 ways, because there's 100 nonprofits.
Almost.
And then 99 of them, we're rounding up.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the extra 50 grand that you guys are going in for the kitty, if you don't mind the poker term. But if you go to the Community Foundation's website, you can download the pamphlet that you print up with every year, and every individual nonprofit has a little essay selling their services to the donor, and it's worth the time, isn't it?
It is, and we had a little bit of a redesign this year on that catalog, which I thought was really cool, where we put things into categories. So if you really are in love with the arts and you want to learn about the different arts organizations and the work that they're doing in the community, we have a page dedicated to that. Same with some of the health and human services, food insecurity. All of those causes are somewhat grouped together, so you can see the different organizations that are working in that field, and then you can make some educated choices around where you might like to send your hard-earned money. And
I thought I knew about every nonprofit in the Valley in North Central Washington. There were some I hadn't heard of, which surprised me.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it? We have different organizations, again, especially those small ones who are maybe just emerging organizations, or they're just doing, really great work behind the scenes. And so this kind of puts them front and center and gives them shines a spotlight on the work that they do and helps them to get their message out and to grow their donor base.
You mentioned every one of the nonprofits that's in the pamphlet for Give NCW has been fully vetted.
Correct.
How do you know that the money that they receive, whether just a couple of, when this is all said and done, and the distribution, that they're spending that money wisely and correctly?
Well, so that's the whole point of the vetting and the review of the financials, because we do general operating support, which means that we don't tie our grants or our funds to a specific purpose within the organization. If you think of an organization as you would like baking a cake. If every donor said, I only want you to be able to use my funds to buy eggs, you don't have flour or sugar or any of the other components that go into baking that cake. And so those general operating support dollars really allow the organization to use the resources in a way that helps them to move their purpose forward, their mission forward. And so because we go back and we visit them after we've given them grants, because they continually ask us for grant funding, we have this ongoing relationship of reviewing the work that they're doing in the community.
I'll give you a perfect example. It's also the unexpected. I can guarantee you that Mike Malman at Serve Wenatchee Valley did not budget for a water leak.
No, he did not.
In October. Sometimes blank happens.
I think water leak is an understatement for poor Mike and Serve Wenatchee Valley. And that is exactly the kind of benefit for these unrestricted dollars that go to these organizations. They can use them for emergency situations. They can use them for, unforeseen circumstances such as, they have an increase in client usage, all of those things. So that's really the benefit of those unrestricted dollars for nonprofit organizations.
How do you know that the folks at the Community Foundation North Central Washington do good work? None of them drive a Mercedes. They're not in it for the money. I can guarantee you that.
It was funny. I took my car into a shall not be named tire place last night, and I have the duct seats on my Subaru,
right.
And they lost my keys, and no one stole my car.
Really?
Because they were sitting in there for all day, but no one wanted it.
Midnight, Wednesday the 31st. That's it. By the way, it's super easy to do. You just go to the Community Foundation's website. You'll see the Give NCW icon. Click on that. It's easy to walk through it. You get an automatically generated receipt for tax purposes. Yep. If you do a card, you can pay for the services of running the card, or the foundation will take care of itself. And this is 10 years old, right? This is the 10th year of Give NCW?
Yes, it is. Can you believe it?
Who came up with the idea a decade ago? Because they get extra kudos.
Well, we basically, it was kind of a fortuitous upgrade of our technology. So we had a system that we brought in to do our accounting and our client management, and it came with this catalog option, and we have a colleague over on Orcas Island who was using the catalog, and so we kind of looked at it and said, hey, we could do this. And it's, it has changed a bit and morphed a bit over the time. When we first started it 10 years ago, we tied it to that grant making that we talked about. So rather than anybody who had gotten a grant from the foundation, it was only the ones who had gotten grants for that particular year. Then COVID came, and our trustees said, gosh, we can't limit this. We really need to offer this up to help all of the nonprofits in our region who need the help. And so what happened when we said, okay, if you've gotten a grant from the foundation, you can be on the catalog, was we saw the numbers of people who started to donate skyrocket, and the amount of dollars that have come through to benefit the nonprofits in this region have been astounding. And that goes to show how generous this community is. And when you think that almost $1 million a year runs through this campaign for these not-for-profit organizations in North Central Washington, that's astounding.
That's one of the bazillion reasons that people want to live here.
I know, it's amazing.
And I don't know if you can say fortuitous on television. We'll look that up. we may have to blank that. You have until midnight Wednesday to get the job done, and then when it's all said and done, we'll have you on maybe early February to figure out how you did.
Sounds great. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everybody. Beth Stipe, Community Foundation, North Central Washington, who does not drive a Mercedes.
No.
And if you find her car keys,
right. Please don't steal the crappy Subaru.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
When flooding hit Serve Wenatchee, their office and Fresh Hope Market were devastated. But their mission to help prevent homelessness in this valley hasn't stopped, and neither will we. I'm Todd McLaughlin, General Manager at Apple Valley Honda. Now through the end of the year, we're donating $25 to Serve Wenatchee every time someone takes a test drive. And if you happen to buy a vehicle, we'll give an additional $100 in your name. Because when our neighbors are in need, this community steps up, and we're proud to be part of that.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here. Oh. I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCWLIFE channel.
It's a tad brisk here in downtown Wenatchee, Washington. It was 26 degrees when this show started an hour ago. We're down to 21. But Ellensburg gets the prize. Congratulations, folks. You're 16 degrees down there. We're going to close out the year with one more look-see around north central Washington and the Wenatchee Valley up to Lake Wenatchee. We go. That's what you call low clouds and fog. I don't know if the lake is frozen every year. Of course, Lake Wenatchee freezes from shore to shore, and I've always wondered, when the ice melts in the spring, does it melt from the bottom up or the top down, or a combination of both? I've always been curious about that. I don't know, but somewhere down there, trust me, is Lake Wenatchee, but they are not taking tee times at Kaler Glen. I forgot, Mac, did you tell me what camera this is? Oh, that's Steins. Okay, hello, Steins, or Stein Hill. It's not plural. It's pointed towards the Wenatchee Valley, as you can see, high atop Stein Hill. So most of Cashmere is within view. And by the way, the Mount Cashmere Golf Course also not accepting tee times. That is McNeil Canyon, way up there on the way up to Waterville. They got the new road there as well. Great people up there in McNeil Canyon, named after one of the pioneering families who first settled in that area, of course, the Canyon family. That's how McNeil Canyon got its name. There's your weather outlook as right through the weekend and into Monday of next week. This covers pretty much all of north central Washington. As you can see, we're going to be warm. It's going to be one of those scenarios where it'll be much cooler in the valleys than it will be in the mountains, because the mountains are going to get sun and the valleys are not. This is what happens. This is why we still have the air stagnation advisory until noon tomorrow, but it hasn't really been bad. From the National Weather Service, that way if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government. We hit 34 on Monday. We hit 34 yesterday. We'll be right close to that again today. Maybe not quite to 34 because it's a cooler start to the day. Days are getting longer, but not much. Today will be 51 seconds longer than Tuesday. was. Tomorrow for New Year's Day, clouds, just lots of clouds all day long with a high of 32. It'll be dry. And then Thursday night, there's a chance of precipitation, but whatever we get is not going to stick around at all. The snow level is going to be pretty low, but it'll be very light precipitation if we get any at all on Thursday night. By Friday, the snow level will be up to 4,000 feet. That's up there. 30% chance of something coming out of the sky, and that's about it. Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you Monday the 4th. Till then, bye-bye.